What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about today. I'm not joking. I think Ronald Acuna Jr. hit this baseball 969 feet. My goodness, that ball was deleted. Kenley Jansen, he was going for some history. He is one save away from 400 for his career. Anthony Volpe, he sent one deep with the bases loaded. We'll see later on if that ball actually left for his first career grand slam. And Clayton Kershaw, he was in his bag yet again. He is aging like fine wine. All of that in today's MLB recap, a series in which we recap every single game every single day. So hit that subscribe button so you never miss out. And remember, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off tickets. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I have no idea what happened in yesterday's recap where I just straight up missed the Phillies and the Jays highlights. So let's get them out the way before I forget again. On paper, this could be a legit future World Series matchup when you have two studs like Kevin Gausman and Zach Wheeler facing off. Yeah, that's going to be a sick pitching matchup, whether it's in May or in October. Brandon Belt belted a pitch. I'm sorry, but also not sorry at all for my terrible puns. That was the lone run scored off of both Zach Wheeler and Kevin Gausman. Gausman was a straight up wizard yet again. He had 9 strikeouts over 6 shutout innings. He leads the American League with 67 strikeouts in just 48 innings pitched. Zach Wheeler, he went 7 with 7 punch-outs, allowing just 1 earned run on 3 base hits. Now Toronto, they head to the 9th inning with a lead, and Jordan Romano on the bump. And there it is. He blows it. JT ripped a double to tie it at 1 apiece. Craig Kimbrell, he locked in for a nasty 10th inning. He struck out 2 to give Philly a chance at walking it off. Oh my, no way that just happened. Oh, Bichette messed up his throwing meter or something. Even Bryce Harper thought that it was funny. The Phillies are now on a 3-game winning streak, and the Blue Jays, they'll fall to 4th place if the Boston Red Sox pick up a W later on. The Twins and the Padres, Max Kepler and Carlos Correa teamed up in the first few innings, with Max Kepler belting his 6th of the year. He quietly has a 115 OPS plus, so a nice little bounce back season. Although he still has to find a way to put the ball in play more consistently because he's hitting like 210 or something like that. Correa, he finally did something. A day after getting booed, he brought home another run for Minnesota on a double in the 3rd inning. Minnesota, they're going to go up by 3 now. Wait, no, Correa is out. That 100-mile-per-hour outfield assist from Fernando Tatis Jr. was the hardest thrown outfield assist from anyone this year. He's playing sick defense with 2 outs above average and 4 DRS already in right field. Pablo Lopez, he was great yet again, striking out 8. He only allowed 2 base hits as well, with one of them being a long home run to Juan Soto. Soto is now hitting 400 over his last 11 games. San Diego, they actually end up spoiling Pablo's 6th start. They tie it and eventually grab the lead off of Minnesota's bullpen. Now we have to head to the 11th, where Alex Kirilloff, he was able to find a hole. He walks it off for a big W. The reason why it's a big W is because the Detroit Tigers out of nowhere are surging. They're playing really well, and let's just talk about them right now. So that was it for the walk-offs from yesterday, and like I mentioned, we're going to talk about the Tiger squad, who is actually looking really decent as of late. This Andy Ibanez kid, well, I shouldn't say kid because he's 30 years old, but he doesn't have a ton of big league games under his belt. He's raking. He's hitting 381 over the last week with 5 extra base hits. Torkelson, he's been much better as of late as well. A 333 batting average with a 144 OPS plus in the month of May. And there's the bad man. That one conflicted me because you guys know I'm a big-time Badu fan, but he did it against my team, so that kind of stung a little bit. Okay, that's enough offense. We have to dump some praise on this man right here, Eduardo Rodriguez, E-Rod. He threw another shutout. 8 strikeouts over 7 shutout frames. That lowers his season ERA to 1.57. He's allowed just 1 earned run over his last 5 starts combined, easily his best stretch as a big leaguer. The Tigers are now 7-3 over their last 10 games, while the Guardians are quite literally embarrassing themselves in the batter's box. Is Yankees Harrison Bader the best player in baseball? This dude has been an extra base machine since last year's playoffs. He's hitting .429 with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs in his first 8 games this year as he came off the IL. Rizzo's batting average is now over 300 after that RBI single. DJ LeMahieu, he looks reborn as well. That 2-run home run was his 5th. He has his highest OPS plus since 2020 when he almost won MVP. And there's the kid. He does actually hit one over the fence. Anthony Volpe with his first career grand slam. He has struggled mightily with putting the ball in play consistently, but he is still on pace for a 20-40 season. That's 20 home runs, 40 stolen bases. Do you know how special and talented you have to be when your floor is a 20 home run, 40 stolen base season? If he breaks out fully, I mean, the league should be terrified of this kid. Now, real quick, I do want to show JJ Bleday in a home run because he's got got 3 home runs in his first 8 games of the season. Just unfortunately though, yeah, his team got swept and they lose 11-3. The Nationals and the Giants. Washington embarrassed San Francisco. What year is it? Okay, all jokes aside, the Nationals scored a whopping 11 runs versus the San Francisco pitching staff, with 3 of them coming on a 3-run moonshot from catcher Riley Adams. That long ball was followed by even more damage. Not home run damage, but damage nonetheless. Stone Garrett, one of my favorite names in baseball, up there with Akil Baddoo and Lars Nootbaar. He knocked in 2 on a single, and Ildemaro Vargas doubled in 2 more. Josiah Gray has been loving his lineup lately. The Nationals ended up with 10 runs before the 6th after Joey Meneses and Lane Thomas helped out. That was Lane Thomas's 4th home run. He has 18 RBIs and a 111 OPS plus, which is pretty good for a guy that St. Louis gave up on last year after they traded him. Josiah Gray threw 7 more quality innings. He didn't strike out a ton, but he did hold the Giants to 2 runs on 5 base hits. Still a blowout in my opinion. The Nationals win 11-6. Again, one of the most important series of the year so far. The Cardinals are trying to prove to themselves that they can win ball games and get back into the division standings. Arenado and Wilson Contreras, they got it going early off the very underrated Justin Steele. But just like the Cubs did to me in 2016, they came back. Suzuki doubled in Dansby, and they just need 1 more. Oh, okay. They got 2 on Patrick Wisdom's 12th of the season. Then there's 2 more from Yan Gomes. He had 8 home runs in 86 games last year. He has 6 home runs in 20 games this year. Justin Steele, he wasn't sharp at all, but he still has a minuscule 1.82 ERA on the season and a perfect 6-0 record. Chicago, they kept tallying runs with Morel and Swanson combining for the final 4 runs of the ball game. Swanson has a 124 OPS plus, 4 runs saved defensively. The Cardinals unfortunately fall to 12 games under 500. Again, plenty of time left, but time is a ticking. Okay, this is where the Pirates start their turnaround, right? Andrew McCutchen hit one long and far. He's got 7 already. He also has 4 stolen bases, so as a 36-year-old, he could sneak into the 2020 club if he keeps this up. But here comes the Rockies, and they just kept on coming and coming. Grichuk and Wins, they bring it within 1 run, and there's Alan Trejo clutching up. His single ties the game at 3 runs apiece. The next run is going to win this game, so obviously Pittsburgh is going to take it with that sac. Wait, hold up. Brenton Doyle, he got it like that. I knew that he could cover some ground with his top 3 or 2% sprint speed, but I did not know that he had a rocket attached to his arm. Brian Reynolds is not slow, so you know that was a seed from center field. The next run went to Colorado as Profar singled in catcher Austin Wins. Pierce Johnson, he allowed a hit and a walk in the 9th. He really tested the mental fortitude and the strength of Rockies fans, but he ended up striking out 2. He got his 6th save. As the Rockies narrowly escape with a W, they beat the poor Pirates 4-3. What does that Pirates loss mean? If the Brewers win this ball game, we have a new first place team in the NL Central. LOL, like that was going to happen. LA put the Brewers in their place yet again. Freddie Freeman had a huge day. He now has 6 home runs on the year, and same for Will Smith. That was his 6th of the season. Freddie Freeman, he grabbed 2 more RBIs later in the 5th inning as Miguel Vargas crushed a 2-run home run to really put this game out of reach. His last 2 weeks of baseball in a nutshell are hilarious. He's hitting an awful 217, but he has 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, and a 134 OPS plus, so that's why batting average is not as popular anymore. It doesn't tell the full story. Don't get me wrong, it's still important, but again, never shows the full story. By the way, this Kershaw fella, he was all right, I guess. Another quality start to his resume. He struck out 8 over 7. He didn't walk anyone. Dating back to last season, he has a 2.3 ERA and a 2.84 FIP over his last 176 innings pitched. Not bad for a guy who was washed up, or as they said he was. The Marlins and the Diamondbacks, Jesus Sanchez doesn't make contact often, but when he does find a barrel, it's something special. That 441-foot 3-run home run was an absolute moonshot. He has 3 home runs and a 294 batting average. Is he finally figuring it out? Maybe I should take back what I said about him to intro this little game. Sorry, Jesus, I was not familiar with your game, but the Diamondbacks, they did what they always do. They scored a bunch. They are 7th in all of baseball in terms of runs scored as an offense, so they momentarily stole the lead when Garrett Hampson, the former Rocky, said enough of that. Let me tie this game up right quick. The next run is going to win it. Who will it be? Joey Wendell and the Miami Marlins. Every time I say Joey Wendell, I want to think of the Rays, but again, he's on the Marlins. That double put Miami up by 1 as AJ Puck strikes out 2. He has 6 saves on the year. So I'm going to throw up both JJ Bleday and AJ Puck's stats because they were traded for each other. I'm going to be keeping my eye on this trade for the rest of the year because honestly, it's shaping up to be a big time win-win trade. By the way, the Marlins are a perfect 12-0 in 1-run games to begin the season, which is an MLB record. So go figure, look at them. We have 3 more 1-run games to talk about, so do not go anywhere. The first one being Texas versus Seattle. So let's go ahead and see who took this one. Seattle, they went up early, but Texas said, I bet Marcus Semien is a monster. 6 home runs and 5 stolen bases to go along with a mind-blowing 6 DRS already on the season. He is 7th in WAR since 2021, ahead of guys like Manny Machado, Mookie Betts, and Nolan Arenado. Okay, enough fanboying. There's Nathaniel Lowe and Jonah Heim. The top half of this Rangers lineup is just not fun to deal with, and I can't imagine how much scarier they're going to be when Corey Seager is back. Dane Dunning has been insane, throwing a bunch of quality innings in replacement of Jacob deGrom. He got 1 more RBI from Semien, but Dane, he struck out 5 over 6. He owns a dazzling 1.72 ERA on the season, and he has a very encouraging 2.96 FIP. I wonder if Jacob deGrom is mentoring him behind the scenes. Anyways, Jared Kelenic, his RBI triple in the 8th made things interesting. As Texas fans, they don't quite trust Will Smith fully, but he got the job done. He has 6 saves. The Texas Rangers win a close ball game in Seattle. There it is. Like I said, another 1-run game. Ohtani, he's going to try and put the team on his back later in this one, but we'll get to that in just a second because these guys also rake. Yordan Alvarez and Hunter Renfroe, they traded home runs. With Renfroe's being a 2-run shot, he has 10 on the season. Yordan, he has 8 home runs and 34 RBIs. Houston, they were able to outpace the Angels through the middle innings, scoring a few on some sac flies and some infield singles. When Jeremy Pena, he ripped it open for a huge 2-run single to end the 4th inning, putting the Astros up 5-2. Now the Halos, they couldn't score because Christian Javier was as nasty as it gets. He had 1 mistake pitch the entire night, and that was to Hunter Renfroe early on. He had 11 strikeouts over 6 innings. He is so good, and so is the Halos bullpen. They nearly threw 5 innings of shutout baseball. They struck out 7 along the way. They kept it somewhat close, and now it's even closer because Ohtani, he went golfing. Somehow he hit that baseball 410 feet. He's hitting 293 with 8 home runs and a 141 OPS plus. Ryan Presley, he was able to regroup and hone back in. He got the final out. He has 6 saves. Houston, they've won 2 in a row. They're only a half game back on the Angels now. The Orioles and the Rays. Dean Kramer, he had his best game in my opinion, even though he had a complete game shutout last year. Considering who they beat yesterday, the Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, this game was stupid. He went 6 shutout against the Goliath Tampa Bay Rays. That is huge. He only struck out 4, but again, he was keeping Tampa Bay hitters guessing all night long. The Baltimore offense took forever to do so, but they finally gave Dean some run support with 2 runs in the 6th inning. Frazier had an RBI ground out, and Austin Hayes, he singled in a big-time insurance run to give Dean a chance at the dub. Wander Franco, he made things a little tight with an RBI single in the 8th, but remember, the Orioles have this guy. Yennier Cano is the human equivalent of a get-out-of-jail-free card. He had a 1-2-3 ninth inning for his 3rd save. He has not allowed a run this entire year. He's only allowed 3 base hits over 19 innings. He's basically unhittable. Okay, guys, I apparently lied to you. We have one more 1-run game to talk about, the Mets and the Reds. New York fans were probably on the edge of their seats to start this one because the last few weeks have been pretty tough, and there's an early hole. Jake Fraley, his double was matched by Pete Alonso's 13th home run to save the vibes and the season, to be honest. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but yeah, they've been playing so bad. Pete Alonso's 13th home run came in clutch right there. He's back in the driver's seat. He leads baseball yet again in that category. Brandon Nimmo, he grabbed the lead on an RBI single in the 4th, and Justin Verlander, he was vintage Verlander, aging like fine wine, as GiraffeneckMarc would say. JV only allowed 2 base hits over 7 innings, and he struck out 7 Reds hitters along the way, and I have to give David Robertson a massive shout out. He struck out 2 for his 7th save. He has a 0.59 ERA, and I might sound dramatic, but that is a big-time W for the Mets, even though they just barely won against Cincinnati. JV was JV. The Edwin replacement, David Robertson, has been amazing. By the way, JV, Ottavino, and Robertson, they retired 24 of the final 25 hitters. So yeah, to me, that's encouraging, even though it was a close W. The Red Sox and the Braves. I know Enrique Hernandez drove in the game's first run, but I have to talk about this Jarren Duran kid. So many guys are breaking out this year. Kelenic, Bellinger a second time, and especially Jarren Duran. He's hitting 372 with the 174 OPS plus. He is turning into a mini Jacoby Ellsbury, but with a better arm. Youngster Brian Bayo was sharp for the first 5 innings of this one when Ronald hit one to outer space. That baseball had to have a rocket attached to it. He is on pace for a 2030 first half of the season. Right now, he is easily the favorite to win NL MVP, and I think he's still just 25 years old. He's going to be a Hall of Famer if he keeps this up even for the next 4 or 5 years. Now, Atlanta, they did end up tying it on a Eddie Rosario single, but Boston, they had more gas left in the tank. Ramael Tapia brought in the on-base god, Jarren Duran, and Tristan Casas. He showed why he was so coveted as a prospect. That ball almost went 450 feet, giving Kenley Jansen a chance at save number 400, and he got it done. He is the 7th relief pitcher ever to have 400 saves saves. He's throwing 99 all over again. So let me know in the comments. If he keeps this up for the next 4 or 5 years, will he be in the Hall of Fame? Let me know. The Royals and the White Sox. Kansas City was making me feel so stupid for a good amount of time because I talked up their offense quite a bit. Like on paper to begin the season, I thought that they were going to be one of the better offenses, or at least a sneaky good offense. But for the first few weeks, they were anything but that. Finally, though, they're waking up, and not just waking up, like Sandy Cheeks being awoken from hibernation waking up. As you can see, it was 4-0 after the first inning. Michael Massey ended the first with an RBI single. Then he deleted a baseball in the fourth, his first of the season. Speaking of deleting baseballs, Nick Pratto, he didn't hit one as far as Michael Massey, but man, that 2-run home run was absolutely scorched. He looks like a mini Vinny Pasquantino. I should have mentioned that Brad Keller, he was great yet again, striking out 4, only allowed 1 earned run, but the story is that offense. Olivares, his 3rd home run of the year, got them to nearly 10 runs on the day, but Kansas City, they have to settle for 9 runs. I mean, as a Guardians fan, I'm jealous of all of that success. So that does it for all of the games and recaps from yesterday, but remember, we end every single video with all of the web gems that we were not able to talk about in the actual recap itself. So thank you guys for watching until the end. If you did, thank you for all the support as of late, and enjoy the web gems.
Opposite way, Castellanos going back, and he reaches up and makes the catch.
Popped up. And it is Gallo running towards the line and making, and then got the double play at first base.
Cronenworth is going, are you kidding me?
High fly pop. Beatty tracking it right at the wall, and he makes the
Opposite way, flag down on one hop by Alec Bohm. Game with a 3-1 putout.
A heck of a play by Alec Bohm.